The opinions expressed in this video are independent and do not necessarily represent the views of TBNewsWatch.com or Google Media. Viewer discretion is advised. The Wheelhouse, with Gilles Galland.
Welcome to the year-ender for the Wheelhouse. Coming into 2011, I thought this sports year was going to suck, and who could blame me? The odd years always suck. No Olympics and no international soccer make the dog days of summer just drag along, especially when you only have mid-season baseball to watch. And July free agency appearances in the NHL and the NBA are more predictable than any crappy movie based on a holiday. Spoiler alert, they get to 2012. But surprisingly, 2011 gave us some moments that sports fans will never forget. Packers upsetting the Steelers was awesome. Leafs not making the playoffs for the millionth year in a row always makes me smile. And other moments we wish we could forget, like the NBA All-Star Weekend. What a joke the dunk contest is now. So here's what I think were the biggest moments in each respective sport for 2011. In the NFL, how can I look any further than Jesus Christ, aka Tim Tebow? Since taking over as the starter, he has led the Broncos to an 8-6 record and makes every football analyst look like a complete idiot. Back, whoop! Although they got their heads kicked in by the Patriots, this team has brought an excitement to Denver not seen since Elway was calling the shots. And their defense is revitalized thanks to getting Elvis Dumervil back, and Von Miller leads all rookies in sacks. I predict Tebow Mania will at least make the playoffs this year, but I don't think 2012 is going to be as kind to the religious signal caller. I just think this team will have too much hype and too much pressure to be able to win the AFC West, where every team is a contender to win the division. But for now, let's continue to watch this car wreck at quarterback and see if he can pray his way to the Super Bowl. For the NHL, Sidney Crosby and concussions. While I know it's easy to go for the Jets' return to Winnipeg, these head injuries are reaching epidemic proportions for the NHL and its stars. Sidney Crosby and Claude Giroux, Chris Pronger is now out for the year, Milan Michalek from Ottawa, Jeff Skinner from the Hurricanes, and don't forget about Mark Savard's sad story. What's really sad for the NHL, though, is just in a small sample size of 5 games, Sidney Crosby proved he's still the best player in the world. To be deprived of his talent is just a sin for any hockey fan. And I'm not going to start to say what needs to be done to prevent these type of hits, because that's a 20-minute video in itself. However, what I will say is the NHL and its players need to figure out something, and they need to figure it out fast, or they're not going to have any stars left to put on the ice. To the hoops world in the NBA, it's got to be the Chris Paul trade. Forget the lockout, this failed trade was worse than any black eye the league could have anticipated. The LA Clippers have now become Lob City as Paul and Griffin become the most feared alley-oop combo since Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. But at what cost? By not letting the Lakers stack their team again for the millionth time, the NBA made the dumbest move in pro sports by vetoing a trade because they didn't like the specifics. Now the Lakers have to hope Pau Gasol will put his big boy pants on and not sulk his way out of LA the way Lamar Odom did. On a side note, professional athletes really need to stop taking it so personal when they get traded. You're not the first loyal superstar to be traded, and you won't be the last, so suck it up. For baseball, the end of the regular season was incredible. 3 playoff spots came down to the wire, and the Boston Red Sox choked like they were a jobber in the UFC. And Bud Selig couldn't have asked for a better season and playoffs with the Cardinals' improbable run. Until NL MVP Ryan Braun had to ruin it for everybody after reports of using banned substances. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Brewers fan, but if it's determined that Braun took performance enhancers during the regular season, you need to strip him of that award and give it to Matt Kemp. In this day and age with how baseball does their testing, you'd be an idiot to juice. So Braun better be clean or else nobody will look at his stats the same again. Just ask A-Rod. And speaking of numbers, Anaheim better win the World Series within the next 5 years because there is no way Albert Pujols is lasting that whole length of that 10-year contract. He'll be 42 by the time that contract runs out, so he'll be lucky if he's even still playing. Although he could look on the bright side, I'm sure he'll still get an endorsement deal from Viagra. Thanks for checking out the Wheelhouse. Hit me up on Twitter at TBWheelhouse. Let me know what was your favorite sports moment of the year. I'm going to be going on a little Christmas hiatus until mid-January, so be sure to check us out next year. Have a great holiday. We'll have a whole new batch of hate for 2012.
The Wheelhouse, with Gilles Galland.